Welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda, and today we're scraplifting Angela Spear at My Scrappy Adventures on Instagram, and this is the layout that we are scraplifting, or I'm scraplifting from Angela. A bunch of other creators are scraplifting her as well. There'll be a playlist linked below for May I Scraplift You. And then I am doing these photos that I just showed you of my youngest on her birthday with her birthday waffles. And yes, those are candles in her waffles. She wanted candles on her waffles, not necessarily on her cake that year. She was turning 4 and wanted birthday candles on her waffle. So she had waffle wishes. So we did put candles on her cake later too. She wanted this in the morning. It was probably on the weekend on a Saturday, and it was what it was. And so these, I have the two bottom ones are 3.5 by 4, and the top one is 3.25 by 3. And I'm just going to cut these down a little bit more because on Angela's layout, her photos don't go all the way up. And so I'm going to try and make mine a little bit smaller. I still want to be able to see the waffle and her blowing out her candles on her waffles. Because that's where she made her birthday wishes. So, and I don't actually think I have a picture of her actual cake because the cake was not the big deal this year. It was the birthday waffles. So I do have pictures tomorrow that I'm going to scrapbook of her opening up her presents for that birthday. But so this is the long piece that Angela has in hers. That is that white and red stripe. And so I'm just thinking about how big I need the block underneath and how big I need this strip. So I want it to be definitely shorter like she has, and then it's definitely longer than hers, but still shorter than my 12 by 12 page. So I think that's a win. And then I'm just trying to figure out how big I would like these strips to be, and I'm going to use strips instead of a block. So a block would have been a lot easier to get on my page, and then just a strip, but it uses up a lot more paper. And I do know at this point I have at least 3 other, I think it's 5 other pictures to document of her birthday, of her opening her present. So I'm gonna conserve as much of the paper as possible so I can get it on a second layout, because I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. It is actually tomorrow's layout, but when I was doing this, I didn't know that the next layout I would do would be these 5 next pictures. So I'm cutting these strips down to a 9 by 9, or 9 inches by, that one's 1.5, this one's about 1. And so that it makes that block look like kind of hers, but without using all that extra paper, like I just said. And then I pull out this orange polka dot, which I've used on so many papers or pages lately, so many layouts lately. It'll be on tomorrow's as well, and so many layouts. Like this week, it was on the Smile swimming layout. It was on at least 1 or 2 layouts last week. And I'm almost done this one. Maybe more than 1 or 2 layouts last week. I think it's probably been on like 5-ish. But this is going in as there's another paper strip on top of that yellow and white stripe and beneath her photo block. So I'm going to use that there. I'm going to cut this is 9 inches the one way already. So I'm going to just slice an end off. And that's going to go there. There is a small piece of red and white paper on the left side on hers, and there's a tag. So the tag I'm going to tie that polka dot paper in on this other side and do part of the tag in it. So I pulled that out just so I can get a visual. And then I decided I best get the splatter on like she has. And I thought about that villainous purple, but it's too dark for what I want. And so I did pull out that Tim Holtz Distress Spray, and it's not villainous, it's the other purple he has in the spray. If you want the name of it, just let me know and I will go look it up. And I'm just mapping this out because she does have some white space in between her spray and both sides, but I don't end up doing that. So I do pull out my box and yay, magic of editing. You don't see all the crazy that happened in between that. And look at, I was trying and it's just not going to work. And not a big deal. And then I pull out this Tattered Angels chalkboard splatter, and it's in like a creamsicle orangey color, but a really pale one. It's almost the same color as the circle on that dot paper. And so that ties in some of the purple and a little more of the orange, and that looks pretty good to me. And I did dry it, and then I didn't get those two big spots on the bottom, sorry. Done, dried, and I smeared them, but they're gonna stay smeared in a while. I think the only one to really notice that will be me. Nobody else did anything. Sometimes my kids and my family say something about that kind of stuff, and they did not even notice, so I'm not gonna worry about it. So that piece is gonna go down, and then this piece is gonna go down. It is not long enough, so I will use that other piece to that other piece to marry it up and just have it to go all the way to the end. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a embellishment cluster in the same spot on that red as she was. Otherwise, I would have just cut that one piece and used a lot less of it, but I didn't know what I was for sure going to do on this side. I had an idea on the other sides, but not so much on that side. So, and then there's my photos, and she has a photo mat around her photos. I am going to sand my pictures. So I'm going to do 3 edges on this one, 2 edges on the middle one, and it's going to jump ahead to the last picture, and it's 3 edges around the last one, so that the middle ones are all butted up and don't have the white, because I just wanted them to be more like a film strip altogether. So that works out really well. I want a little bit more of the orange showing, so I'm trying to get this in a spot where I'm happy. And that's pretty good. My head's in the way a little bit just because I'm trying to get that all straight, and lining it up without my T-square was actually working better for this. So, and then I just need to move it down so it's a little bit more centered, because I did not eyeball that correctly when I put that first one down, and that works a little bit better. And I am going to use my T-square to get this buttonable piece on, because I do want it lined up with the other one. And it is an old DCMW page for that bubble one, like super old, when they still put stickers on the back of their papers, which has been like, I don't know, a really long time. So I'm just going to rough this up a little bit, being careful so I don't give myself a paper clip again like I did last week, because yeah, that's always fun. And just trying to think about what I want to do with that tag. And I have this strip just hanging out, so I decide that I'm going to rough it up and stick it on this other side, just because I wanted that to mirror that orange bit. I wanted a little more of it on there. She does not have that on hers, and that's okay. And then I'm going to pull out my Better Press, and I'm going to use these cupcakes from a Better Press Society kit that I have. So I get that every month. I don't always use them right away, but this one, well, I haven't used this one right away either. I think this one was like February-ish. I've had it for a while. maybe longer than that. I don't know. If you want to know exactly what month it was, I can let you know. There was a registration plate. I'm not going to use it. I do want both pieces to this cupcake, but I'm going to fussy cut the little one. And I'm going to just do the big one as it is. The big one has a die to cut. So I'm going to cut to that like that. And so I'm going to try the two pinkish ones that I have for the Better Press. And so one's strawberry, and I think this one's azalea. And I'm going to run them through. I'm going to show you all 3 sets of cupcakes I make, just because. So that wasn't quite the right color I wanted. So I'm going to flip this over so that I can get it on this other half of this piece of cardstock. This is the Better Press cardstock, so I don't want to waste any of it. So that's the strawberry. Run the strawberry through. In a second. It wasn't quite straight, and then it kind of moved a little bit before I dropped it on. So, and the strawberry is okay, but it's still not quite what I wanted it to be, but it's all right. I can use those on something else. And then I'm going to try my Hero Arts ink. I haven't used very many other inks on these. The manufacturer says, like Spellbinders wants to use just Better Press ink, which I think is a dye ink. This Hero Arts one is a pigment one. I'm going to use it anyway. Like, to each their own. I'll wipe it off later and not a big deal, and yeah. But you try what you want to try on your own stuff. If you want to follow exactly what the recommendations are, please do. But I wanted to play, so. And then that color is much better. I'm super happy with that. And so I'm going to die cut those out and fussy cut. And I'm also going to die cut a tag top and a tag bottom. So I'm going to skip ahead because you've seen me die cut a lot. So there's the two parts. So that bottom bit is from Hip Kit Club Packaging, and it's a very fine pink polka dot on white. And so I think that's pretty cute. I'm liking the polka dots on here, obviously. So a little bit of stripe and a lot of polka dot. I also decided that's not quite long enough, so I'm just going to cut another piece that is definitely longer. And I noticed these 3 stripes here, and I like the stripes. They're kind of like a pinkish color. They're almost the same color as those 2 cupcakes that I did, so it actually works. So I'm going to leave those on as a visual thing. And then I'm going to eyeball where to cut this off at, which was about there. I turn this into a flag. I'm still trying to use it. It doesn't get used, but I'm still trying. It just, for me, it looked kind of awkward there. So, and I did think about cupcakes there and here. And I'm like, I don't know. I like them both like that too. That's not where they end up, but I like it. I pull out some letters. And so I pulled out both of these. They both came from my Hip Kit Club. But these orangey ones I'm going to use because they're super cute and I have all of the letters I need, which I'm checking. So I'm going to call this Birthday Waffle Wishes. I am going to put the B and the I on, and then I'm going to skip ahead. These do not stick. Do not stick. So I do come back after my layout and stick them all down, and it changes to wishes. So, but you'll see those in the still shots later. But yeah, they just, I don't know. It was on glitter paper, so that's probably why they weren't sticking. And then I did lose a dot to an I at one point. So I did have to come back in with an I from a J, because I do want the I's from the I's. A J I can get away with not having an I. And so then I decided these are definitely going to go over here, and this is going to get up on foam. I don't have too much birthday stuff, which is kind of funny because there's a birthday layout to do for every single year of my kids, but yeah, not gonna happen. And then I did do some journaling, and I did not plan it out very well, and it got all messy at the bottom, and I had debated on leaving it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to cut another piece of this dotted paper. I'm going to plan it out and then redo it. But the journaling is going to say, birthday candles on your waffles was a special request this year. You always get to choose your birthday meal, which is almost always waffles, but candles were a first. We still had cake too, because cake is important to her now. So as you can see, I actually planned out where my lines would be, and then that's where it's going to end up, and race, and the journaling is exactly the same, but takes up less room and is not messy. So man, oh man, things happen, right? So just rejig those cupcakes just a little bit, and those work out really well. I'm happy with those. Here's where I lost the eye dot, so I'm going to glue that one down, but none of this stays stuck. And then I decide I need just a little bit more, so I pull out these really, really, really old flowers, and I had when I was pregnant with my oldest, who is turning 18 in October. So yeah, they're old. So I'm going to use them. Some of them have lost color, changed color, transferred color. I don't know. But I'm going to use the yellows and the pink ones for what's there. And then I'm going to put a yellow and pink enamel dot in the middle of them, because they all have holes in the middle, and I don't like the way the holes look. But an enamel dot kind of finishes them up and makes them super cute. And then I'm also going to put some of the green enamel dots on here to pull some of that green from the pattern paper out, because it's in the stripe and the polka dot. And that's pretty cute. None of those. And then all I need is, I'm going to do a strip where I decided I wanted another strip. Sorry, my brain is not firing together. Beside the orange dot. Holy man. And I'm just going to cut it into 2 pieces. It doesn't need to go underneath the flower. So that works out pretty good. And it's easy to sneak in. And then I'm going to glue down 2 of the petals on that yellow one, just because there is the edge that's right there, and I don't want the flowers to come up so you can see that edge. So a little bit of glue will keep those 2 down. The rest can move as they need to and get fluffed up. Not a big deal. And then I decided that my tag does need a hole punch. And then I chose this really old ribbon, and it's got the green and the blue and the yellow on it. And just going to use a staple or 2, I think, across it. And that's super cute, and I'm done. So yay. If you liked my video today, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, it would be wonderful if you subscribed. I'm almost at 200. There's some still shots here. Also, make sure you go take a look at Scrappy Adventures. Links will be below. And also take a look at Pineapple Papers, who is the organizer for May I Scraplift You. There's also playlists below. Thank you so much for watching. There's a couple other videos or playlists here that you might like. Have yourself a wonderful day.